Your information security standards are absolutely important because it's impossible to have privacy without security. Security alone is possible without privacy, but not privacy without security. Basically, a data protection management program would be an end-to-end program, like Jayantha said, from the time you collect the data to, let's say, a grievance handling procedure.
Right.
So you'd first start off by assessing what you have. That's what I said, that's something companies can do now. You assess what you have, you see your data flows, you see where the gaps are. Then you set in place mechanisms to protect that. That would be your information security standards are absolutely important because it's impossible to have privacy without security. Security alone is possible without privacy, but not privacy without security. You have to have proper security measures in place, and you also need to have certain other, let me just quickly talk about a data protection impact assessments and the privacy by design mechanisms that you can use. So impact assessments are, I think, crucial. It's something that would enable you, and the more you do it, the more you can fine tune what you need to see. So an impact assessment would essentially allow you to see the gaps in your processing activity, a particular product that you want to float. Maybe you do an impact assessment, you see, okay, there are issues in these areas which we need to cover. So that and you put in the safeguards before you go live. Then privacy by design, again, is a very important concept because you incorporate the privacy elements into the design of, let's say, an app, for example. So you look at the Uber example, the no mask, no ride example, which I think it's like a fantastic example of privacy by design, where you get into the cab, and if you violate it, you've not worn a mask, the next time you can't go for a ride without verifying that you're wearing a mask. So you have to take a photograph and upload it onto the app. So the app doesn't use facial recognition technology, it doesn't use biometrics, it uses object identification software. So it just identifies, okay, the mask is on, and thereafter they verify you and they delete the photograph. So that's an example of how you incorporate privacy. So you don't give up on the safety concern, neither do you give up on privacy. So it's a win-win. So once you protect, of course, you need to sustain. So you need to have monitoring mechanisms, audits, and you need to have continuous training. Training is, I think, very important in a large organization or even a small organization. And responding, again, you have to have procedures. If there's a breach, how do you handle it? If there's a law enforcement request, how do you handle it? So those processes have to be in place, and you need to continuously test them. You can't just put it out on paper and say, okay, we have a breach procedure. You have to have simulations and exercises so that you're well aware. Otherwise, when the breach happens, everyone will be looking for the document. So that's essentially what a data protection management program should encompass.